Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AttractWell Office Hours. We're very excited that you're here today. I've got a quick introduction. I'm Greg, and we got Amanda here too, who we're the co-founders of AttractWell. And
Hello.
we're very excited that you're here joining us today. So while everyone is kind of rolling in here, it always takes a minute for everyone to get connected. Go ahead and put where you're from in the chat. We'd love to know where you're from and maybe what business that you have that you're operating or wanting to operate with AttractWell. That'll help us out here too. But yeah, today I'm going to be covering, you probably saw the email, covering a getting started with AttractWell. And this is specifically like aimed towards setting up the website. This won't go deep into like building custom pages or any of that, but it will show you how to walk through and set up the basic website so you have something that you can share and it looks nice and customized to you, because there is like a little built-in website theme. Hey, Mike, from thanks for commenting there. But yeah, there's a built-in website theme that you can customize a little bit, or you can go fully custom if you'd like and build out a completely custom website with multiple pages and blog and events and all sorts of fun things. So I'm not going to get into all that stuff, but we'll cover the basics today with how to get started. And I'll cover a little bit that's actually not on here too. I'm going to touch on contacts because that is, I think, also a very important part about getting started with AttractWell too. Setting up the website is great. A lot of the value comes from getting your contacts into the contact manager and then being able to do something with them, message them or email them or whatever you'd like to do. So with that, and if you have any questions along the way, put them in Q&A, hit the little Q&A button over there, and then we'll get to them here. So awesome, cool. Let's dive in here. I'm going to share my screen and let's see here, make sure I've got the right one. All right, so sharing the screen here, we've got the AttractWell dashboard. So this is what you see when you get started. After you go through, I think the first couple of steps, you'll get put over here to the AttractWell back office, which is the dashboard, kind of your central hub for all sorts of things. And just some basic orientation here as far as the features. This is on a computer. It's slightly different if you're using this on your phone or if you're using this on our app. But some of the areas to point out, we've got the menu over here on the left. This is generally where you find pretty much every feature in the system. It's all grouped into categories. Some of them have like contacts as the settings link that takes you to further submenus. So that's kind of how you navigate there. If you'd like to view the website that you have, there's this View My Site button. If you want to share it with people, there's some quick links to drop it on Facebook or common social platform here. You can also copy the link, or if you'd like to refer someone to get AttractWell, you can also do that here with the My Referral link. And that actually gives them half off their second month. And then you get also the other half of their month after they've been a customer for 30 days as a one-time account credit. So it's a little thank you for referring people. So that's where you would find that. And then also, if you ever need to change your contact information, just click your name up here on the right. And then also, this is another really powerful feature here too. This is sort of the, search box for everything that you can create. So whether it's a contact or a feature, you can do that up here with this little search box here. So if I type in, I'm pretty sure I'm in the contacts list. So you can see here that we've found this contact, and you can open in a new tab or even pin it to the menu. So the pinning part is really interesting too. I'll cover that here too. If you'd like, most people use the menu over here, but if you have something that you absolutely go to a lot, whether it's like a vault or a feature or campaign or anything, you can, once you find it in the search box, there was that little pin. So like if I find accelerator, I'll show you what that looks like. So you can just click the little pin icon, and then that will pin it down here. And then basically it's always up there. So like it's one tap away, you can click in here, and then I've got 2 pinned items in this account. And then it shows kind of recent matches, and you can clear that out if you'd like. You can pin from the recent as well. So that's a nice little tip for navigation around there. You can get around the system easily and quickly that way. If you've got some favorite menu item, or maybe there's a vault you've been working on a lot, you want to pin it up there so you don't have to go digging for it in the menu. It can just be basically right there without having to dig for it. So, but we'll move on here to setting up the website. Now, the website that comes with the system, I don't have a completely empty account to show you, but I'll show you what I have here in this demo account. I did change this up a little bit. So there's some customization options here too. So, or this site is slightly customized, but basically the website that comes out of the box, it'll have your name in the corner. This account happens to have a logo uploaded, which you can totally do. There's also these links over here in terms of the, the menu. I believe it only comes with one link. Maybe I think it comes with the contact me link right out of the gate. Once you get going, you can customize that as well by editing the menu. This part can be changed with the My Story and Photo, which I'll show you here in a minute. But basically, this account has a photo uploaded, a headline put in, a body, the story uploaded. The send message button appears automatically for everybody. And this person also, if you have any blog posts, those will show up here as well. And then along with the page footer, and this account has a customized page footer. So that's kind of what the built-in theme does. If you don't have any blog posts, it's not going to show those. And it'll also show the standard footer, which I think is gray instead of this color here with the logo. But so that's kind of what that website looks like that you get stock. It's relatively easy to set up because you don't have to like create these elements and put a picture here and set up columns and headlines and all this other stuff that comes with building a page. So I'll show you how to customize that. Under customize my site, I'm actually going to start with My Story and Photo. So if I click on that, you can see here, let me go, actually I should leave this open here. But so we can compare where this is going. You can see the photo. If I go back and forth here, the photo is what appears there. So to change the photo, you can just click on it. You probably can't see the pop-up, but it did pop something up, a window up, or I can choose a new image if I'd like that, or you can click remove if you want to take it off of there. The headline here, you can see this appears up here. And then you can choose where you'd like your story to show. By default, it does show on all landing pages, individual blog posts and events, and then the blog archive and event. But you can uncheck those if you don't want it to appear. Sometimes you want to save that information for a later point in your customer's journey. And then down here is the story text. As you can see, that is exactly what appears over here. So it's pretty easy to set that up. You just click on My Story and Photo, put in your photo, your headline or whatever you want to. And this could be, your business logo too, if you would prefer to go that route instead of your own photo as well. And then a bit about whatever it might be, a bit about you, a bit about your business, whatever that you want to put on there that you feel would be appropriate for a homepage. So really, that's all you have to do to get a basic website set up with the system. If you want to go beyond that, you can. And there's this customize my site link here where you can do that. I'll dive into that here as well. So there's a number of different options here. I can go through these and show you what these all entail and kind of what they do here. But so you can see here, like this is where if you want to control your homepage, this is a very important setting. You can choose what you want your homepage to be. Now I've got it set to the default website theme because we're demoing this piece. But if you'd like to, and you've created a custom page, you can select one of those as well. This account has several home pages in there, and I can show you what that looks like in a little while. Or you can actually even set your blog as your homepage if you would like there. So some people just want their blog. It's comes from a lot of people who might use WordPress or switching from WordPress might have their blog on their homepage. So that's a great option to have that there if you'd like to continue that. If you'd like somebody to register, have to register to get on to see your homepage, you can set that up here by choosing a landing page. This isn't super common, but it comes up in some cases where if you have, if your homepage is basically you've got something set up, like maybe a free download, and that's really what you want people to do, then you can set that up as your homepage here as well. Beyond that, I would just generally recommend, unless you're doing something special with that, just keep it as no landing page required here as well. To customize a little bit more, you can see those bits and pieces over here on Jane's site. So this logo that you saw up here in the corner, that's what this is under website header. And when you first start your account, it's just going to be on text, and it uses your name You can just type something in there if you don't have a logo, which is pretty common for people not to have a logo. If you want to get fancy with it, you can use an emoji. Little shortcut here. If you're on, I think if you're on Mac, I think if you press Control Command Space, I don't know if you can see this little pop up, but it popped up a little emoji box for me. If you want something a little bit beyond there, that's maybe a little more stylized than just plain text, but you don't want a logo, then emoji is a good thing. If you're using Windows, I think it's a Windows period or Windows slash, I don't remember, or Windows comma, one of those. I don't remember that one offhand because I use a Mac here, but there is a Windows shortcut key to pull up your emoji keyboard if you don't want that. But in this case, this account has the logo image, and if you hover over here, it does tell you the size that that the system recommends for best results. If you change that, you can choose a different logo image from upload one, whatever you want. You can even add a design from Canva, which is kind of cool. So just touching on that, there is a way, any place in the system you see this Canva logo, it actually allows you to, I wonder if I think they have a logo. It actually allows you to open Canva and kind of lay it on top here, or I should say open it up on top. You can edit whatever it might be if you like a logo, modify it in Canva, and then push the send to AttractWell button, and it'll put it in there. So you can actually design the logo in Canva and then push it right into AttractWell, which is really cool. Nice way to get a good touch, a nice finishing touch on your website without having to actually, create something totally from scratch, because that can be awfully hard. But Canva has a lot of great starts for design. But anyway, so yeah, so there's your logo image. Now this site icon, which some people, going back to the early days of the internet, is called the Fab Icon for some reason. I think that was just some technical term that stuck, because I think the icon might show up whenever you added it to favorites in your browser, something like that. But anyway, what this is, you can see the little JJ logo here. That appears right here on the tab. So I think if you don't set one, I think it uses the AttractWell logo by default. But if you'd like, you can totally customize it. If you're a little on the more techie side, you can totally upload a transparent PNG as the Fab icon, and then it will, I think, blank it out, because this one has a little white background on there as well. So you can see like the AttractWell logo has a transparent background, and so it doesn't have that white square there. But yeah, you can customize those things. The site page footer. Now this person has a custom one made right here, and that's what's selected. But basically, you can choose any of your pages that you've built in your system, and you can build pages by clicking on pages over here. You can choose any of those as your site page footer, or I'll just show you the standard built-in page footer for a moment. I'll save that and come over here and then refresh it, and you'll see it will change to the standard one here, which is just kind of this black and gray one. Let me go put that back to the footer, I believe. It's just, I think it was page footer. Let me refresh that again. Yes, okay, I think that was the one. So yeah, and then if you ever have a broken link on your site, and this isn't something you really have to do, but it's sort of an advanced tuning thing. If somebody visits a page on your site that doesn't exist, by default, the system sends them to your homepage. Otherwise, you can create a custom page. And in the PDF that was sent out with the training today, there's a link to it, link to a template that you can get if you want to create your own custom 404 page, or the page not found page. And then there's also a training on getting a template for a custom homepage if you'd like to go down that route as well. There's some, I think, just a template and a training linked in that PDF document as well. Yeah, so going down here further, there's some additional things you can, settings you can change for this built-in page footer. So we've got the page title here. That appears like right here where it says Jane Jones, that's what the page title is. So if you wanted something a little more descriptive there, which I would recommend, because page titles are highly ranked by search engines like Google and DuckDuckGo, those show up, those will show up highly in the rating. So like if you have a description of what you do, so a lot of times people will be like, let's see, Jane is, what was her, I'm going to open up her story here. Yeah, so she calls herself the Happy Holistic Mama. So what I'm going to do here is, and Jane's not a real person, by the way, this is just a test account I set up. So I'm going to copy that, and I'll come over here and I'm going to say the Happy Holistic Mama Jane Jones. And so then this would start to, these keywords here would start to get ranked on Google eventually for that, depending on how competitive it is. I'll save this and I'll refresh that so you can see how it changes the top of the page. And now it says that, the Happy Holistic Mama Jane Jones. So you can do that or just leave it blank and it'll have your name in there as well. A couple other settings here worth noting. If you ever share your site to like Facebook, and these apply to the built-in website theme here. If you build a custom page, there's separate settings for these. But if you ever share your site to a site like Facebook, or I think even LinkedIn, and it's even happening on texting apps now, where like this little preview pops up of your website, you can choose what image shows here. So you can select an image or upload or create an image here for that. And I think, yeah, it'll then show up when you share. And there's the sharing description that goes with it that'll appear. So like if you've ever seen when you share on Facebook, it's got an image, and then you've got your I think the text on the side of it. I believe the custom sharing description and the title and the image all show up together to form that whole thing. So that's really the bulk of how you can customize the built-in website theme. And of course, be sure to save it after that. But there's a couple other settings down here that I can touch on briefly as well. If you have social media sites, you can put the links here. And what that does is anywhere that there's this contact me box, that will show up here. So like if I go to, I'll put in here, let's see here, oops, what's going on here? My computer's being a little slow here with my typing. Why is it not selecting it? There we go, facebook.com/something, whatever. Okay, so I'll just pretend that's her social link. And you can put the others in there as well. But now if I refresh her page and click on contact, the little Facebook logo shows up there and it's linked to that site. So, the other social sites will show up here as well. So it's another, and I believe it'll also show up in your footer, the standard one anyway, but this custom one is made with all those on there as well. So that wouldn't, anyway. So I'll delete that out of here. But yeah, you can put in, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, all these here are built in. If you have more, obviously you can put those on a custom footer. Another option here, if you'd like, a lot of people really like to customize a little bit more. There's obviously a font selected, or there's some fonts that are being used for your website, but you also have access to I think it's about 1,000 fonts that are on Google. Google has the Google Fonts tool. And you can browse, I'd recommend just browsing right here on Google, finding the ones you like. Let's say, I don't know, you like this one here. I don't even know how you say that. I won't say it. So I'll come over here and type it in. You can select it and then save, and then that will become available to you to then use throughout your system. So it's kind of more of an advanced thing, but I'll just leave that off for now. And then there's a way to embed custom fonts. There's a help article on that. I'm not going to cover that here. If you have, and then one other touch point on this screen under your advanced options, and this is, I believe, checked automatically if you're from the area or in an affected country. But if you'd like that cookie notice banner to show up that you see in a lot of websites now, you can check that, and then people have the option to accept some or all cookies and customize kind of what cookies that they get. There's more and more of those privacy regulations popping up. So you can turn that on. There's a banner that will automatically be included, or you can include your own too. That's where this website analytics comes in. If you have third-party tools here and they give you some code to put on your website, maybe it's a chat bot, maybe you've got, maybe you have Google Analytics or some other tool, you can paste in their code here and then save it, and then that will start working on your site. We've got also, for those of you in who might be in network marketing, there is a way to enable some network marketing features here. Those turn on a few different features in the system, as well as a couple of extra fields in the contact manager. So relevant if you're in that niche, otherwise you can just ignore that. So yeah, that's to customize my site. I'm going to make sure that my site is kind of back to the way it was before I move on. Yep, looks good. So actually, I do want to show you the one other thing. So like in terms of, I know I'm not going to show you how to like build a completely custom website. There's a training linked in the PDF guide for that. but I'm going to put this to, I think I've got a home page that I'd like to use here. So I'm going to hit save. But under customize my site and like my home page to be a custom page. And that's what I've done. Now, if I refresh, you can see that the page or the site completely changed to the site homepage that is that I had selected. So with that, I think I'll move on to the next section here. I think I covered kind of the gist of how to set that up, and I'm going to touch on the, let's see here. I'll touch on the menu here, which is another common thing for people to change. And that's either, so you can click on it here to edit the menu. And by menu, I mean what's appearing up here in the right-hand corner. So we've got learn, contact Jane, blog, and I think a home link here as well. There's also a link here when you're customizing my site, but I'll go ahead and click on menu, and you can see kind of a visual overview of what these are and how they're ordered. These little, if you see these little triple bar icons, you can actually drag those around. So if you'd like to reorder those, you want your blog first, or maybe at the end, or something like that, you can absolutely do that. And so there's two parts to the menu. The top is the this is a menu essentially. So like, and they can optionally have a like a pull down. You can see like the learn menu has one item in there, which has read the blog. But you can either just have these top level links like this that don't have anything in them, like blog and contact Jane, or you can have these pull down menus with an item in there. So either way, absolutely works. So in this case, I'm looking at this. I'm like, well, okay, this logo actually links home. So I'm pretending I'm editing this site like it's my site. Like I don't really need home anymore. So I'm just going to delete this one. Actually, I have to delete the items in it first as kind of a safety measure so you can't accidentally blow away the whole thing. So I'm going to delete both of these and then save, and we'll see what happens over here. The home menu should disappear. And now we just have those three. Now to add one back, I'm going to add one. There's two different options. You can add a menu, which is what we call, or a menu header, which is what we call like this blog, contact Jane, and learn, or you can add an item to a menu, which is like this read the blog link down here. You can absolutely do that. So let me add a top level menu, and I'll show you a few different settings on that. So let's say we want the header text, maybe, okay, maybe I changed my mind. I want the home back. Okay, awesome. So you can choose what it links to. You can say, I'm gonna, it's gonna link to, you can actually have no link on it if you want, or you can link it to your blog archive, your event list, or your member area. You could also have a specific URL on there as well. So in this case, I'm just gonna put, let's see what is, I'll just copy this here. Copy her website address and put that in here. So I'm going to say the home link goes there. That's the page. If you want to call a little more attention to it, you can actually turn it into a button. I'm not going to do that for this one, but I'll change it on another one. Like, let's say we want contact Jane to be something that's highlighted. I'll get to that here in a minute. And you can also choose whether or not this link, if you have a link, opens in a new new window or browser tab, depending on the person's settings. So let's see, I want home to the top, so I'll bring that to the top. Now I'm going to say I want contact Jane to be the big bold button. So I'm going to drag that to the bottom, and I'll click on that. And then I'm going to say this is a red button, done, and then save. So coming over here, refreshing. Actually, the red button's been restyled to blue. Looks like there's a way of customizing those. So we must not have changed the label in this demo account. But anyway, it is a button now. You can see that these are ordered. We have the link to home, blog. The learn still has a little pull down. And now we have this button that says contact Jane. That should open up actually, I think I lost the link to on that. Should link to here. So if you want it, I guess I just breezed through that. So if you want this to open up the contact me box, you have to type in right now this hashtag contact. We should be adding that to the other, I think I must have clicked the radio button, but I think we will be adding that at some point here to the header links to as an option there as well. Right now you do have to type that in. So I'm going to save this again and come back over here and refresh. So contact should now pop up this little box. You can see it a great way to call a little extra attention to it by putting that button on there. Now, if I want to add a menu item, let's say I want more in my Learn menu, because that's only got one item in there, and that's kind of repetitive with the blog top level header. So I'm going to say add, and my computer's okay. So I'm going to add an item to a menu, and you have a variety of options. The default one is a website page. I don't know if you can see this list that's popped up on my computer, but there's a website page, a website link, basically any link anywhere you want to go. A label, if you want to organize and categorize your menu a little bit, you can link to the blog archive, an individual blog post, event list, individual event, the built-in website theme, contact me, the member area, or just put in a menu separator. So in this case, I'm just going to go with a website page. And let's see here. I'm going to say there's a few pages in here. I'm just going to go with this one, this 3 ways being crunchy can change your life. 3 ways, I won't say the whole thing. 3 ways guide, maybe I'll call it something like that. And this one's going to show under the Learn menu. So I'll hit done. You can see now we've got this 3 ways guide. Maybe I want that on the top because read the blog is redundant. So you can just drag that up there. You can just reorder these pretty easily. And I will go ahead and save this now and show you what that looks like. So refresh. Learn now has the 2 links under it, 3 ways guide and read the blog. So if I click on that, it'll take me to that other page. And then here's the page. Learn menu also has the blog on there, which you then can click. It's the same thing as taking it here. But so yeah, that's how you can customize the menu. Pretty straightforward. There's a variety of flexibility and options with the styling, but one of the nice things about the built-in menu is it always sticks to the top, so it's always there whenever someone is browsing the site. They don't have to go hunting for it. If you let me shrink this down to show you. So on a phone, it'll appear a little bit differently. It's a pretty standard paradigm these days that you get this little icon in the corner on a phone that shows that you click. So if I click on that, you can see the same menu that was there before is now here, including the button for contact. So you can, all these links work, but this is how it'll appear on a mobile device or anything with a smaller screen. I think depending on your device, it may appear on some tablets as well. It's really kind of based on the screen size. So I'll pull that back open. But yeah, so those are, I think, 2 of the most common things. It looks like if you haven't caught it, the training guide has a broken link in it. So maybe we'll fix that before we post the replay here. But Amanda posted the correct link in chat if you need that as well for the 404 video. Otherwise, yeah, so that's how to go through the customize my site, my story and photo, and the menu, which will basically let you get your content, or not your content, your website all set up. And this is a custom page, so you can just kind of see maybe what that might look like. Maybe I think maybe a different day we'll go into like the page builder training, which is under here. If you want to create the custom home pages or custom pages on your site, you can come under pages and hit create, and then go through a variety of these different page templates, and then choose one and then edit it from there. But I won't dive into that today. Now I want to touch on contacts a tiny bit here, since it looks like if anyone has any questions, certainly pop them in Q&A or chat, and then we'll cover them here. We can pick those up. But I'm going to touch a bit on contacts, since I think that's also a pretty important part about getting started as well, and bringing contacts in. So usually, not everybody has this when they start, depending on where they're at in their stage of business. But oftentimes somebody will be coming from a different system for organizing their contacts. Maybe they've got an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Doc or Google Sheet. Maybe you've got a different program. I talked to somebody earlier today. We had talked to somebody earlier today that was using like a different app that she had her contacts in. And with any of those, you can bring your contacts into AttractWell. There's if you're not familiar with it, there's a pretty standard file format called CSV. It stands for comma separated values, but basically it's just a way of transferring your contacts from one system to another. And you can do that here too. And that's how you would import your contacts. So if I come over here under my dashboard, which is where you would start if you log in. There's an import contacts link here too. So you want, if you click on that, there'll be some instructions. You can choose your file and then say, I have permission to contact the people in this file, and then it'll walk you through the importing process. Maybe I have a file here that I can show you. Let's see if this works. I think I've got one that might work. We'll do this, hit start import. I won't actually follow through with importing these, but so you can see it got a CSV file with a bunch of data in it. So one thing you want to do when you're importing is make sure, so like this gives you a little preview of your file down here and what it is and what's in each of these fields. You want to make sure that what's up on top here, this dropdown, it's actually a dropdown list. Make sure that the fields line up with the data that's under there. Now the system does its best to detect, because like city, it automatically chose city, state, it automatically chose state. So it picks up on very common abbreviations and column names, but sometimes you'll have a CSV file that doesn't have any column headers, or if you don't, then you want to uncheck this. But if you do, then you'll definitely want to make sure that you have, well, either way, you want to make sure that all these are selected correctly. Like for phone, maybe you don't want phone to go into mobile phone, maybe you want it to go into work phone, the work phone field, that sort of thing. So just want to make sure that all your fields are lined up here correctly before you import it. Otherwise, you could end up with some unexpected results when you import, or maybe your file will be totally empty. You'll get a bunch of blank contacts, maybe that only have an email address or something along those lines. So definitely don't want that to happen. But once you've chosen that, then the other thing you can do that I'd recommend, especially if you're bringing this over from another source, if you're bringing your contacts in from another system or a spreadsheet or that sort of thing, you can tag them on the way in. So let's say these are, maybe we got a list of people that are on your, if you're doing health coaching, maybe you've got a list of people that are health coaching clients. You can tag them all as health coaching. As you import them, then you'll know, okay, this came from this source, or maybe you want to tag them as the name of the old system, like, okay, this is what, I imported them from this other system, and this is the name of the system. Then it would kind of be a trigger, like, oh, this person came over from there. That's kind of where, their background came from. So that's one thing I do recommend is tagging the contacts as you import them. If you regularly import new contacts from some other source, you can just tag the ones that are newly created on the import, because the system will try to deduplicate. Like if you import the same file twice, as long as that file has the same email address in it, or an email address, then it'll try to deduplicate by email address, and also optionally mobile phone number if you check that box down there to avoid duplicates. And you can actually just tag newly created contacts. This is great if you want to see who's actually new to you, and not just, maybe they registered for, if you've got a one common use case for this is I think Facebook has a lead ad format where you can, people can quickly get access to your freebie without really having to enter an email address. Facebook does it for them. And you may have a CSV file that you're importing regularly. If they already are in your contact list, then you can take that file and just say, I want to tag the new one. So anyway, so these are a couple of different options. You can also remove tags upon importing, which is for special workflows. I won't really get into that. You can correct the capitalization names and addresses. Sometimes if your file comes in, it's all uppercase, that sort of thing. It doesn't look nice, makes personalizing contact or emails more challenging, that sort of thing. So, and the rest of these, you can probably just leave those alone. Those are advanced features. The only thing I'll note is this last box. If you only have a file that has a phone number in it, no email address, you would have to check that box in order for it to import. But yeah, basically just verify that the columns are aligned with, or the correct column is selected for the data that's under there. Kind of review these settings down here, maybe autocorrect capitalization, and then start import, and then it'll put all the contacts into your contact manager, which you can find over here by clicking on My Contacts. It'll show you all of them. You can put in your own photos if you would like by editing them. You can rate them. There's a whole, we'll have to do a whole, or I think we did a whole deep dive on contact management. But that's something that you can, you can, once they're in here, then this is where, you've got a lot of the power of the system with, you want to send them a bulk email, or you want to bulk, maybe tag them or send them a campaign or add a follow-up plan for yourself, add them to vaults, run automations, rate them. There's all sorts of things you can do once you get them into your contact manager. One of the more powerful features that I'll touch on here is the to-do system here. So you can add a to-do item. And Michael, I'll have to look that up. I think we did one. If not, maybe we'll have to get one on the list here soon. I think we've got some. The question was, is there a deep dive video on just on contact management? And I'll have to look for that after this and see if there is one, or if that's just something in the help library for now. But I think that'll be a good one for a future training as well. But so anyway, when you're on your contact, you can go ahead and hit add, and then basically just type the name of the to-do. Let's say like follow up with him on, after, I don't know, New Year's or something like that. So I'll come over here and I'll just say, okay, this guy wanted me to reach out a ways in the future. I guess New Year's is a long way away from when we're actually filming this, but I'll just say 2023 in here. Oops. Pick a date, 1/5 next year, something like that. And then I'll hit add to do. And what that's going to do, it'll drop a to do item on here, which then also will show up on our dashboard, which is up here. If I would go out to that 1/5 of 2023 date, which I can actually do, you can actually change the date in this to do section, but all your upcoming to dos do show here. So if I click on that, and I'll just say like January of 2023, and the 5th, you can see that follow-up plan, or the follow-up reminder shows up here. And then it would also send, the system also will send you an email with that, so you can touch base or whatever it is that you need to do with the personal follow-up. So the to-dos are really good for personal follow-ups with something. And then once you've checked them off, they'll appear over here actually in your past actions. So I'll just pretend now it's January 5th of next year, and I've followed up with them. I'll check, and then it automatically shows up over here in a past action so that you can see what you've done. And then that cleans it off your to-do list, which is really nice. And yeah, so a few other things I might as well touch on while I'm in here. We've got a few minutes, looks like. I don't see too many questions. So I will touch on a couple of other quick things. If you'd like to send this person an email, just click on their email address. It'll pop up a box. You can fill it out. Personalize it with saved replies and all this. Again, these are all things we'll probably have to touch on a future training. That's a whole training in and of itself. But basically, it's like a little email program. Fill it out, hit send, or you can schedule it later. If you're working in, this is a nice feature. If you're working late at night and you don't want to bother somebody with an email or text, you can, during the middle of the night or whatever, you can schedule it for a different time. Or if you'd like to plan it ahead, if you've got a coaching program or something like that, and you'd like to have regular check-ins with people, you could schedule this out like every Monday or something like that. Let's say, for example, if you want to have a weekly email or text that goes out to that person, you can absolutely do that here. But that's where you send an email. If you'd like to send them a text, just click on the text link and it pops up the text box, and you can send them a text message right there. And then you can even, if you have the two-way texting feature set up, you can actually even call them through that number here. If you don't have that, I believe it comes with pretty much every AttractWell plan, basic and higher. You just have to click chat and choose a phone number, and it gives you your own business phone number through AttractWell. And then you can come here and like text back and forth with people through this little chat app. You can go back and forth, and it'll message them and they can message you. And it's just like having it's like the chat app on your phone, except it's on your computer or your phone, because this actually works through our app as well. That is another thing I want to touch on, some more of the basics here. So, I mean, that's kind of the high level overview of the contact manager. You can edit contacts and so on. But another feature that's important is the searchable help library. You can either hit help or this little orange question mark in the corner. And if you're looking for something like contact and contacts, adding, editing or removing, you'll find instructions there. If this little banner gets in your way, click this little icon here. It'll actually open up in a new tab, and then you can come over here and close it, and then you have like a separate tab if you prefer that approach. So that's a great way to get some help while you're browsing around. It does, the system does its best to pull up some suggested articles related to the page that you're on at the moment. So you should see like contact management articles when you're there. When you're in the contact management, it should show member area articles like when you're in the member area, that sort of thing too. So let's see here. I see a couple of questions in the chat. So let me touch on those here on the contact management before moving on to anything else. Is there a calendar view for the to-do list and a way to link them to the Google Calendar? So right now, oops, I wanted to actually go to the dashboard. There isn't a calendar view specifically for your to-dos, not like a full screen, like looks like a like your calendar app on your computer or anything. You can come here in the to-do section in your dashboard and go to different days. So there is kind of a calendar here, but it shows you one day at a time. So like if I needed to see, today's was whatever, tomorrow, next week, I don't think there's anything really scheduled in this account, but it would show up on those specific days as you click around the calendar. So I think that's as close as we've got as far as the seeing the calendar in your dashboard. That is Allison, that is a really cool wish list item actually to have, either like a list view and a calendar view in addition to this little widget that's kind of on the dashboard here. So, and as far as a way to link the to-dos to your Google Calendar, right now there isn't. I assume you're talking about like if you created in the system, it shows up in your Google Calendar. There isn't, but the system does send a daily activity email as well. You'll get an email if you have something going on that day, whether you've had a website visitor visiting, or you've got maybe somebody registered on your website, or you've got to-dos coming up for the day, or maybe there's some contacts that the system is suggesting you reach out to that you've rated, then that will show up in an email on that day. It gives you kind of a summary of what's coming up and what happened the previous day. So that's about what we've got. I think the Google Calendar is a kind of a wish list item that we've had out there. So good to know. Good to hear that feedback. And let's see, anything else seeing in the chat here? I don't see anything. Looks like there's a link issue that we got to look into with the resource bundle that came with the training. But yeah, so that's kind of the overview of what I can think of for like contact management, getting your contacts in there. I probably should touch also on creating a new one. There's that create link here. If you want to add a new contact right from your dashboard, you can click create. I'll kind of maybe touch on some of these fields here as well. We've got first name, last, obviously the name, basic contact information, tags. This is a great way to organize your contacts. I didn't really touch on that in the import video section, but what this is, this allows you to basically categorize or organize your contacts any way that you want to. If you can create any arbitrary tag that you want to. These are ones that just happen to be in this demo account that I'm using. But if I just have, I guess there's already one called new, even newer tag. I'll make one called that. Now, you do have to click it or press enter. And then once you see it kind of in this little tag format with the X, then that means it's taken, because if you just type and you click out, it won't actually accept that as a tag. So you do have to select it and then click on it or press enter before it becomes a real tag, so to speak. And then this will spring into life, and then you can actually go ahead and filter your contacts by these tags. So this essentially, if you've used other contact managers, some systems call them like folders, tags. There's just different ways of, different names for the same thing, but you can create any arbitrary set of tags that you like and organize your contacts. So, and contacts can have more than one tag. They can have dozens of tags. So an awesome way to know more about your contacts and to be able to filter by those tags. So you can, if you're communicating out about a specific topic and somebody is interested in that, whatever it is that you're talking about, in this case, I'll use the health coaching tag again here. If I would want to send a message to the people who are interested in health coaching, I can come over to the contact manager and filter by that tag. So come over to filter tag, I'll do the health coaching, hit filter. There's some advanced things you can do with that as well. But okay, so here's my list for health coaching, and then I can come over here and send them all an email because I know that they're interested in that topic. So great way to cut down on the amount of email that you send, as well as provide better results for your emailing if you know that people are interested in that specific topic. So quickly going back to the create contact screen here. Oh, we've got some questions in Q&A. I didn't see that. Okay. I will, let me finish up the screen, then I'll hop over to the Q&A because there were some coming in here that I didn't see. Anyway, so yeah, you get your basic contact information. You can choose where they came from. There's a few different fields here that you can also, that I want to touch on. So like what this member area access is, if you've got Vault set up, if you want to, essentially this is like a ban. If there's some bad actor or something that you don't want in your member area, you can turn them to no. Otherwise, you can say yes. That doesn't mean they can get in there. They can only get in there once you provide them access, but this is like kind of the master on-off switch. And then whether they're opted in or out of email or text, these are good to know here because these will show up and then actually affect who that emails or text go to when you send a bulk email. Background information is like notes, and then you can actually even add a campaign or a follow-up plan. Follow-up plan is like a list of to-dos that it's like a prepackaged list of to-do. If you're familiar with like an email campaign where it drips out over time, that's kind of what a follow-up plan is, except it's for your own personal to-do items. So between the campaign being an automated one and the follow-up plan being more stuff that you have to do, that's kind of a more comprehensive view of what you've got, or you can really keep in touch with the contact. So, all right, over to Q&A. Camille mentioned hashtag contact. Is there a list somewhere of others? That's really the only one. Actually, I thought we had added that to the menu. I think that was in the menu editor when we were talking about the what was that at? The contact Jane. I thought that was added here. If I'll have to go back and we'll have to make sure that gets added on there so you don't have to type hashtag contact. But that's pretty much the only one that is here on your main website. There's really not much else that there is. There is another one that is inside, like when you're building the page builder, but that's something we can touch when we have a training on that. Cheryl asked, can you create a page on my website that is private so that only I can see it? Sort of yes and no. So there's maybe two answers to that. So one, you could create a page inside of a vault inside your member area, and then that would only be accessible to people that have access to that vault. And we do, that's a whole nother training there, but once you're into the vault, you can create a page, and that page can, if you don't let anyone else into the vault, then only you'd be able to see it. Now there is another way. The second answer is when you're creating a page, I'll show you this quick here. When you're creating a page under settings, there is this page is shown option, and you can set it to by link only. And what this means is this will add some special information to the page that tells search engines not to index this thing. So it won't find your page. People would be able to get to it with a direct link, or if you don't share it, nobody would know about it until you shared that with them. So this is probably the easiest way to do it, is just set your page to by link only, and then have that link be something that only you see. But once you share it, just just know that these pages are not, this way it's not secure. If it's not in your member area, people can grab that link and share it with others, but only the people that would have the link would have that. So sure, hopefully that helps. If not, pop another question in there. Michael says, my custom site isn't secure. Is there a way to secure it? Yes. Can you just email support@attractwell.com, and then we do have a free security certificate we can install on your site. Typically that process. So that's that actually brings up another really good point regarding the website. So in this case, when you start with AttractWell, you do get an attractwell.com/something for the website address that comes included with your site. If you'd like to connect a custom domain, you absolutely can. So let's say you went to GoDaddy and you bought yourname.com or yourbusinessname.com, and that's what you want on your site. Absolutely, you can do that. You can email support@attractwell.com. There's also a help article on the steps that you can take to connect the domain on your end. You do still have to email us, give us your domain name, and then we'll set up hosting on our end. It's a very short process, but once that's done, then we can install the custom or the security certificate for you. And then, yeah, we can absolutely get that done for you. So the difference is, like, this site has one, so it's got the little padlock icon here. If it didn't have one, it would say, I think there's a little like red not secure message that pops up here. And so that's probably what you're seeing on your site there, Michael. So we'll absolutely go ahead and get that done here. If you can email us after or now, if you got a minute, we'll get that installed for you. Let's see. So Cheryl says, I have a vault for prospects and not members. Do they need to log in, or can I just send them a link to their email so they can view a PDF or video in the prospect vault? So anything in the vault, if you have a page in the vault, for example, let me go over, I think I've got some, I'll go over into the vault. So vaults can have, this one's got 3 pages in there. So like, for example, when I view it, this comes up for me because I'm logged in. But, you know, so, but if I took this URL and I shared it with somebody who doesn't have an account, they wouldn't be able to see it. I think that's what you're asking there, Cheryl. So in that case, what you would want to do, or, you know, depending on how confidential this information is, if it's okay, if it kind of, you know, leaks out, but you don't want it on your website, not leaks, but like if somebody shares a link, if that's okay, then doing what I showed earlier with the pages and setting it to by link only is a really good option. You don't have to have that in your vault. You know, the video or PDF would probably be on a page in a vault as well. Another option that doesn't require a login, there is the app, which is another great resource. So just search for app, another great tool, I should say. So we have an app that works for both you to manage your back office, basically everything you see here, and any of your contacts who are in your member area. So if you've got a coaching program or maybe an online class or some hybrid, something like that on your website in your member area, and somebody can install this app, and all they have to do is put in their email address that they use to, you know, sign up for the program with. Once they confirm their email, then they're in. They actually don't even need a password when you go this approach. Which makes it really, really simple for people to get in. So that would be another option, Cheryl. If they're okay with installing the app, you can, you know, send them the links. If you know, here's for the Apple and the Google Play Store. Those are the links to the apps. Really, all they have to do is download and install them, and then put in the email address, and then they would get access to it without having to have a password. But if you just want it to be as simple as here's a link, click it, view it, then that would have to be in a page that's outside of the member area. Cool. Okay, so Allison asked, how do we get to chat from the app? Now, I don't have the app on my computer here, but there is a, it's like a button or a tab on the lower right-hand corner of the screen that I think it says, well, let me just pull it up on my phone so I remember exactly what it says. And whoops. So what it's going to do, I'm switching accounts here. Let me get with the right account. The actual tab. Oops, I went to the wrong account. My mistake here. Anyway, I believe it says something like two-way texting, or not two-way texting or chat. I think it's just chat. So you can push on that chat button, and then it will come up with essentially what the same thing is that's here. So you can converse right back and forth on the app as well. So it does look pretty much the same as the website. It'll look very similar to this, like when you size it down. Let me go back to the dashboard maybe here. It's going to look very similar to this on your phone. If you happen to be using it on a tablet, it will look more like it would, maybe here. I don't know, I'm just guessing at tablet size. It won't have the menu on the side here. It'll just have this inner content because the menu actually is like a pull sidebar off the left. And there is a training that I know that we did on our YouTube channel several weeks back about the app and into that as well. So that's something you can look at as well. But yeah, definitely looks the same as the website. Cheryl has one other question. Let's see here. So if I create multiple vaults, do I create different passwords so that I can see the private vault for myself only, and then another vault for my members with a different password for them? Now, the password actually is on your account and not, or on your account as well as your contacts account. It's not per vault. So essentially looking at, I think there's a help article on this. So what I'm going to do here, let me search for member area. There's a little diagram that might be handy. Pull this open. So here's a little illustration of kind of what the member area looks like. So you've got your overall member area on the system, which is like essentially like, think of it as maybe Facebook or a social media site that's private to you on your site, combined with like an online learning center. So you have one account to log into the member area. And then within that member area, you have these vaults, and vaults are kind of like a Facebook group or maybe a LinkedIn group. You log in with LinkedIn or you logged in with Facebook. Once you've logged in, then you get access to those groups, and that's the groups that you have access to. Now, just like Facebook groups, maybe your group admin belongs to or owns 20 different groups, but you're only in one of them. That's kind of what this is like on your site. So you've got your member area, they create a password for your member area. They do that once. They don't even need a password if they go through the app. And then they get access to whatever vaults that you've given them access to, or that they've signed up for, because they can if you like, you can make free vaults that people can sign up for with a landing page, or maybe they make a payment to get access to it, that sort of thing. If you want to see what vaults that somebody has access to, then that's where you can go into the contact manager. I'll show you this here briefly as well. If I click on, for example, this person, and then come down to this vaults section, you can see this person has access to these 2 vaults. You can see that there are several other vaults that this person does not belong to. So when they log in, they would only have access to these specific 2, and you can kind of see when the last time it was that they were viewed and everything. So you can see when they were last active in there. So hopefully that helps, Cheryl. Let's see. Okay. Michael asked, can the vaults be linked to another website? Say if I have another site. So yeah, I think so. What you could do in that case, depending on which way you want to go with this, I could think of like a couple different answers. Like if let me go over to come over here. So let's say this is if you're talking about the vaults linking to another website. So for example, if you have your learning resources already set up somewhere else, and you're wanting to just put a link on here to your menu that would pop off to a different site, that's something that you would do through the menu editor. So because, that I showed you earlier. So go over here to the menu editor, and then you can add a link there. Now, if you're talking like actually inside of your, like that there's some content inside of your member area that you want to link off to another site, you can do that through the pages. So if I come over here, you can see this content type is a page. Maybe this is where you want to, let's say that I want to add a link. I'll just add another section down here. I won't save this, but let's say that I wanted to link to some other site. So I can highlight that, hit link, whatever it might be. I don't know, google.com, and then hit insert. And then you would have that link, and that, people could click on that. Obviously, maybe style it or make it a little bit nicer looking than that. But yeah, you can link to it that way. So a couple different options if you want people to go through the AttractWell vault first, or if you just want it like linked off of your website. Either way will work. So hopefully that helps, Michael. Yeah, so I'll make sure not to save that so I don't mess up this nice looking page. Yeah, looks like we're getting close to the top of the hour here. So if you have any other questions, certainly drop them in chat or Q&A, and we'll get to them here. Give everyone a minute here to maybe put in their last minute questions, but hopefully this has been helpful, covering the overview of how to set up the basics of the website, customize it a little bit without having to spend a ton of time on it. Get your contacts imported, do some basic contact management, set a reminder for yourself on a contact to follow up. And then, we touched on a few Q&A questions as well. So, and Allison will figure out what's going on with that link that isn't working for you and get in touch with you after this. Or feel free to email in as well if you're having issues there too. So cool. Well, I don't see any other questions that came in. So thanks for your time today. Appreciate that. Hopefully this has been helpful. And as always, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to support@attractwell.com. We'll get back to you. We can even send you custom videos or messages or that sort of thing to help you out with whatever you're looking at. So cool. Well, thank you very much. And we'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye.